suspect we're doing well.
Bookies.com put out their team odds. This one even includes the Browns. Sometimes they do, like, if not on the team, but they actually include the Browns. Now, this is just to get, money in probably or whatever, but the Detroit Lions are at the top of the list. It's big. It's still plus 350, meaning I don't think anybody has any real
feel for it yet.
Right, not yet.
Yeah.
So the Lions are first. The Chargers are second. Commanders are third. Staying with the Browns, fourth. 49ers, fifth. Eagles, sixth. The Field, seventh.
Okay, that's the Patriots.
And then the Falcons, eighth. And the Bills, ninth. So the Bills have their name on there, but they have a longer shot than the Field.
Okay.
So what I said,
a longer
was like
shot than the Falcons?
7 or 8 teams in there.
Yeah. So the Patriots are the Field. That's seventh. But now you're fighting with all those other teams. That's
and those are all better teams.
That's not great. They're not singled out by name, the Patriots.
Those are all playoff teams with the exception of the Niners and the Falcons. And, both of those teams you could say are closer to the playoffs than the Patriots are.
Falcons, definitely. Falcons came down to week 18.
Right. No, exactly. And then the Niners obviously have a pretty loaded team, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't be interested because he doesn't have a no-trade clause. He can always pout and say, I'm not going to play for you, or you can convince him. And if all these trade deals come across the Cleveland Browns' desk, there's a chance the Patriots have the best offer, even if I hope it doesn't include the 4th pick, but if you include the 38th pick and next year's one, that's probably better than most teams are going to offer.
I think if you want to guarantee yourself Myles Garrett, you offer the 4th pick.
Well, yeah.
So, I think they can get him. Maybe it wouldn't be intelligent to offer the 4th pick. Maybe he'll go for much less. But you want to get him? He's got no say. He doesn't have a no-trade clause. The only thing he can do is say, I don't want to get traded there and not show up and not sign and pull Hassan Reddick or something like that.
Now, maybe this waits till closer till draft time.
Yeah.
Right? Because let's say Mike Vrabel's favorite player in the draft is Abdul Carter.
Yep.
And he goes
to the Browns
first.
Too.
Yeah, right.
or number 1 overall to Tennessee.
Right.
Sure.
So it's like 2 quarterbacks and Abdul Carter are off the board. At that point, do you see what you can get in a trade down? Do you just take like Travis Hunter or somebody else that you like? Or at that point, does it look a little bit better? Like the favorite guy, you couldn't get him. Like you couldn't trade up. You couldn't. They wouldn't do it. They just wanted Abdul Carter. Maybe at that point, you do consider dealing the 4th pick, and then you wouldn't have to include a whole lot more. That is insanely valuable.
Yeah. So. Yeah, maybe at number 4, they see how the draft shakes out, and they go, look, we don't really want to move the 4th pick, but if one of the names we want, like Abdul Carter, isn't available to us, or Carter and Hunter both go, and those are the 2 guys we really wanted, and we can't swing a deal to move down, you know what? We think we're overpaying, but we'll do it. Fine. But Myles Garrett can go on and on about wanting to win. Some of that's probably just justifying leaving Cleveland. Like a Browns fan looks at it and goes, well, yeah, he's never going to win here.
Yeah.
So some of that might be lip service on his end, too. He might just want out of Cleveland. And you can say, well, yeah, I'm going to the Patriots where they have cap space and a quarterback and all these things. You can spin that a lot of different ways. So just because he says he wants to win doesn't mean he's automatically going to a Super Bowl favorite. And you can take a lot out of his hands. What's Detroit? Where is Detroit drafting? 30th? No, lower than that, 26, something like that. So, go ahead and line the picks up. And you can offer way more than Detroit.
Yeah.
So take that out of his hands if you want. Adam Schefter came up with a comp. He says a potential trade comp.
All right.
For 29-year-old Myles Garrett was the trade for 27-year-old Khalil Mack.
Oh, yeah.
Who was traded from Oakland to Chicago. The Bears gave up 2 first-rounders, a 3rd, and a 6th. They got back Khalil Mack and a 2nd, along with a conditional 5th. So that was one comp.
So that's confusing. So would you just say that would be 2 1s?
I think that's probably the easiest way to
Like
look
the
at
2
it,
kind of cancels out the 3 and the 5,
Yes.
maybe. And so 27-year-old Khalil Mack for 2 first-round picks. Now, I'd have to double-check, but
Khalil Mack had been a Defensive Player of the Year just like Myles Garrett. It was
he was a stud
2 years prior, just like Myles Garrett.
But let me just double-check.
The actual draft return, I'm looking that up, too.
What
Like
the
where the picks fell.
Traded... This is by the Raiders with the second-round pick ended up being Cole Kmet. How do you like that?
It was
for
a first-round pick, Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, but 24 overall.
24 and 19.
Okay.
Damon Arnett, who was out of the league almost immediately, and Josh Jacobs at 24. So those
pick.
are not comparable to the 4th pick. The other thing that Chad Graff came up to, he has a Chad Graff, Patriots beat writer for The Athletic. He said you could trade this year's 2nd, which I believe is 38, and a future 1st, meaning the 2026 first-rounder, not this year's. You would do that. You'd do 38 in next year's 1st.
So I still have my 4th pick for this year's draft to do it with whatever I want. Maybe they end up trading down and getting more picks, or they just take the guy they think is the best at 4 overall. and you're getting Myles Garrett. And so, yeah, you're missing out on a second rounder this year. I think you have 2/3 as it stands. So you still are going to be active there in night 2. Losing next year's number 1 pick obviously hurts, but if you're getting one of the 3 best defensive players in the NFL, you're going to have to give up something good. And if all goes as planned, that pick will be maybe 20, right? Like that's what we're talking about. Like the Raiders giving up the 24th pick, or I'm sorry, the Bears giving up the 24th pick. All right. That's a lot easier to swallow than if it's a top 10 pick.
Did we sell this short too? I hadn't even thought about this. Maybe you mentioned it and I missed it, Keith. Text line 617-779-7937. Vrabel should be on the phone right now with the Browns to see what it'll take. He does have a connection from being there. I hadn't even thought about that. He was in Cleveland last year. I completely forgot about that.
So there you go. So
I mean, I knew he was
Myles
there,
Garrett,
but
yeah.
I hadn't connected those.
So who knows what their relationship is? Maybe if it's good, does that give you a little bit of a leg up? I would say so. Okay.
Elliot Wolf was in Cleveland, so they're certainly tied in with that organization. Maybe that doesn't work in their favor. I have no idea. But it's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. Shame on me. When it comes to this offseason, I think more names like this being available is a good thing for the Patriots, whether they're in the Garrett sweepstakes or not. Those odds from bookies.com would tell you they're not.
Yeah.
We're speculating as to what it would take just to have fun with it. I don't know how realistic it is. But more names out there is a good thing. Like if Max Crosby is available to be dealt and Myles Garrett is available to be dealt, well, maybe some contending teams snap those guys up. Maybe that makes them less likely to be in on a free agent, and a free agent drops into your lap, or a free agent that is considering the money versus winning and making a sacrifice is more prone to take the money because those other Super Bowl caliber teams have already gotten different guys. So the more supply available this offseason, whether you can really get Max Crosby, whether you can really get Myles Garrett, that is indirectly a good thing for the Patriots.
Well, because the Patriots should be able to – the question will be, will they pay these guys? They should be able to, though. Yeah. Like, that shouldn't be what stands in the way.
Kraft has the means. Will he do it? I don't know, but he has the means.
So we don't know.
Sure. Yeah.
And so you look at what the draft capital is, because you don't really have a lot of great players necessarily to trade, and that's not how most NFL trades work anyway. It does seem like it's picks for players. But then those players, how do you soften the blow of them getting traded to a 4-win team? Like, you immediately sign them to a new deal. And, rather than looking at the free agent market, and this is something Tom Curran's been on when we've had him on every Tuesday, is just – even if you got all the best players who are free agents, it's still like a B minus type of crew rather than like the star players where teams might have made up their mind that they can't re-sign him, or in the case of Garrett, he's just asking for a trade, but they're not going to let the guy walk. Like they're going to trade him, and then that's how you get the really good players.
They're going to cost more in terms of draft compensation and whatnot, and probably contracts as well. But you're getting better players on the trade market than free agency. That is true. Dubs985 on Twitch says, I'd easily do the second this year and the first next year if possible. He's with Keith. Meanwhile, text line 617-779-7937. Garrett's 29. Nah, I'm keeping the 4th overall pick.
Nice.
Which I don't think you have to do the 4th overall pick. I'm just illustrating a point. You can trump if you really want Myles Garrett, you can go knock it out of the park by offering that.